2026.
Different, right?
See? They're painted different colors.
No, I'm saying different size. That middle.
That's a power car. This is a power car. They use it to power the trains.
This would, yeah. Okay.
Hey?
Cape Cod Times. I got some pictures of you taking a train here. Do you mind if I grab your name?
We're not going to be boarding yet, okay?
Got it.
We're going to stay right here until we get the clear to board.
Okay. Pay attention.
Quickly clack.
Pretty cool.
'26's horn. Yeah, her horn is pretty loud. I always wonder what type of horn 2026 is wearing.
He's annoyed.
The harvest happens once a year in the fall, mid-September through early October. And I'm going to save the facts about harvesting for our return trip. The bogs were flooded from late December through mid-March, depending on the weather, and that is when the layer of sand is applied. This is the time of year that they start to come out of their dormancy period and the growing season begins. Cranberries require about an inch of water per week during this busy growing season. Also, you'll notice beehives because pollination is an essential part of cranberry growing. The fact that you'll be seeing today is our second growth forest because our main forests were depleted back at the time of the early settlers. Here's your largest cranberry bog off on your bay side. Those little flags that you see among
More
the
bigger than
bogs
the cranberry
are
bogs
notes
at
to the
Edaville.
grower. That reminds them when that patch of bog was last fertilized and what particular type of berry is growing in each location. Off on the side you'll see the pump house that takes the water from the kettle pond and carries it to the bog by way of those sluice gates. And a huge pile of sand that is used in the winter.
Yeah.
This is the pond. Now this used to be a thriving cranberry bog up here on your inland side. It was sold to the town of Sandwich for recreational, environmental reasons. Same with the bog on the opposite side. Fired up the kilns inside the massive Boston Sandwich glass factory. He had already built a glass factory in Boston. Sandwich is where he came to spend some of his downtime with some fishing and hunting and so forth. And during his visits, he realized it just might be the perfect location for a second glass factory. Plenty of trees to fire his kilns, plenty of marsh grass to pack his glass, and plenty of sand. What he wasn't counting on was the very high iron content in the local sand, and it turned out that it turned all his glass. We're going to be passing over Jarvis Street. We'll do a grade crossing over Jarvis Street, named after Mr. Deming Jarvis, who built that Boston Sandwich glass factory. They even waved to us out of their stopped vehicles, so feel free to wave back. Now you're getting views on the opposite side out to Cape Cod Bay. Traveling next to, and we'll be making that grade crossing over Jarvis Street, named after Mr. Deming Jarvis.
Company today. We came to Sandwich, but
We're going to be traveling alongside on your inland
Thanks.
side the former
No worries.
Sandwich Police Station and Fire Station, no longer being used in that capacity because they were the victims of quite a few floodings. Itself is a little over 17 miles long, 32 feet deep, 480 feet wide. It is the widest sea level canal in the world. Toll-free for passage at this point in time, but you have to be able to power your vessel. So no canoes are allowed on the canal, no swimming. We have very large ocean-going vessels. We have tankers, car carriers, container ships, cruise ships. We've also had the Mayflower too travel the canal back and forth.
officially moving.
I see the canal bridge off in the distance. The railroad bridge.
Bourne.
2014. Oh, so that's what our horn sounds like.
So Freezer Road and then Town Neck Road. We're going to be traveling back alongside Sandwich's former police station and fire station. When we get to that spot, if you look out towards the inland side above the treetops, you're going to see two children heading back to the train station in West Barn.
Cut off for a little bit there.
Crosses Route 6A, the Old Kings Highway. This road that I've mentioned before parallels the shores of the bay for about 34 miles. Then it crosses through Bourne, Sandwich, Barnstable, Yarmouth, Dennis, Brewster, and Orleans. This roadway, began as a Native American trail, and it stretched from Plymouth to Provincetown as agricultural Atlantic coast. And these dunes are created when the strong wind sweeps the sand inland, and then anything growing in its path helps those dunes take shape. The dunes are host to hundreds of resident and migratory birds, fox, deer, and rabbits.